Here's Liz with Warren Buffett. Go ahead, Liz.
Stuart, thank you very much. Just like everywhere else, this is the front page of the Omaha World Herald today. Of course, it is Bin Laden, the word's justice. I'm joined now by the man who was taking all the front page headlines over the weekend. That's the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett. Thank you for being here. They got the bad guy.
Yeah, they got the
When
bad
you
guy.
heard about it, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
I thought back to 9/11 and what had happened then, and you know, that's the best headline we could have.
The markets back then completely tanked.
Yeah.
This time around, we're looking at a market that is moving higher. It's not skyrocketing up. Are you surprised by the reaction, especially considering that oil pulling back just slightly early in the pre-market session? People would have thought it might have gone down more with the fear premium slightly taken out.
Yeah. I'm no expert on oil or anything, but on balance, the news and the economy has been getting better now for year and a half or thereabouts, and the market has been reflecting it. So I don't think this is a big market factor. I mean, the American people feel wonderful today, all of us. But in terms of earning power of American businesses or anything, I don't think that factor should change dramatically because of this. But how we feel about the country and how we feel about what our government has accomplished and everything, you know, has changed dramatically.
I remember after 9/11, you put in one of your annual shareholder letters, which you publish every year, everybody can read it or see it online, you put in a worry about a dirty bomb possibly going off. Remember that?
Oh, after 9/11, I think the whole country was worried there was going to be some kind of a second attack. What form it would take, you know, nobody knew. But there was a lot of worry about it, and of course we're in the insurance business. It got reflected in the insurance market, and I give credit to both administrations for the fact that we have gone a long, long time without an attack. You and I don't know what's taken place behind the scenes, but I'm sure a lot has taken place behind the scenes that has prevented that.
Well, being in the insurance business still, it's a huge part of your industry and reinsurance. What do you anticipate might be the next insurance policies written relating to this? Because everybody's talking about, well, now there may be retaliation. Do you expect to see insurance business from this?
I don't think so. The big factor in the insurance business will be the number of catastrophes we've had this year. So the first quarter of 2011 was probably the second worst quarter in the history of the insurance business for natural catastrophes. And people think of Japan, and they're right. I mean, it was huge. New Zealand was very large.
The earthquake.
The earthquake, this was the second earthquake as it turned out, but the one in the first quarter of this year was even worse than the one last fall. And then Australia had floods and cyclone, and so there's been a lot of activity.
Yeah, and it's hurt your insurance part of your business, certainly.
Right. It cost us about close to $1.7 billion pre-tax in the first quarter, and usually the third quarter is the worst quarter for catastrophes. But I hope the first quarter was the worst.
Well, but this news today, do you expect it to change psychology, make people a little more confident? You struck a very bullish tone about the U.S. economy this weekend. What is the one thing, aside from a terror attack, God forbid, that would shake the foundation of the economy that is trying to come back, trying to stage a comeback?
I don't think it'll get shaken. Now, I think events in Europe are very unpredictable, but this recovery, although it's relatively slow, it came off an incredible shock, but it's been quite steady. And when residential housing comes back, and it will, we have to work off an inventory. Who knows how many excess houses we produced a few years back.
Do you believe the National Association of Realtor numbers? Sometimes they give inventory numbers that a lot of people in the industry say, you know what, the inventory is much higher than that.
Well, the real excess inventory came about because we were building 2 million units and households were forming at the rate of 1 million a year or something like that. Well, no surprise, you have too many units after a while. Now we're building 500,000 plus a year, and we're still forming a lot of households. So the inventory is getting worked off, and I don't know any figures that I believe on it. What I do believe is that the inventory is getting worked off, and that the United States will continue to grow, will continue to have more households, and 500,000 is not a normal level over time. And when it gets back to 1 million, I think you'll see effects way beyond just construction workers. You'll see it in our carpet factories. You'll see it in the furniture mart selling more furniture. You'll see lots of ripple effects.
Well, it better come back. You've got a lot of businesses related to the housing industry. Do you anticipate when? Last year you said a year. Here we are a year later. It's not quite there.
Yeah, and I said in this annual report that I put out a few months ago, I said I thought we'd been seeing it by the end of the year. Seeing it would mean getting up to maybe the 650 or 700,000 level. But I may be wrong. I know it'll happen, though. We bought a major brick company in Alabama, not because we're selling any brick, particularly this week or this month, but we know over the next 10 years or 20 years that there'll be a lot of brick houses built in Alabama.